so he just cut his hair.
Oh, we're on. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition. It is Wednesday, the 27th?
27th of June.
27th of June, 2012. Coming to you live from the QCNews.com studio. To my right is the returning Chris Rose.
I missed you last week.
Yes, Chris was not with us last week, but always with us, omnipresent, is Glenn R.J. Willett.
He's missing.
Of QC. Oh, there he is.
I'll be back.
All right. Oh, he was here, and now he's leaving again. Well, it was something I said. We just started the show.
I gotta do my job.
He's got to do his job.
He's got to do some job.
I don't know what his job is.
I don't know what his job is either.
I mean, I certainly don't pay him.
There's a dog in the office.
Oh, my goodness. There's some sort of event going on upstairs here in the, what building are we in?
We're in 814 Elm Street at the old Beacon building.
Yes, the old Beacon building. I think we should upgrade the show and do it from the new Beacon building in the future.
Fat in this outfit.
I didn't want to say anything, but
shut the hell up.
You don't look fat.
Thank you.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
So welcome everyone to Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition, and I think we'll open with this interesting show. I talked recently on the I think it was on an Express edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed about how I've come to the conclusion that I am a eugenicist. And I realize that eugenics is generally regarded as immoral and unethical, the idea of sterilizing people so that they can't have children.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come to the conclusion that ethical and moral objections aside, I do think that it's something that we have to start doing in this country. I think we have to start sterilizing people who are extremely stupid.
Absolutely.
And who are, frankly, just too stupid to breed and perpetuate their horribly flawed and stupid bloodlines. What do you think, Glenn?
I didn't hear what you said.
I think they're too stupid, but not to breed. I think they actually get that down pretty well.
Right. That's part of the problem. That the stupidest among us are the ones who breed the most because they're too stupid to use birth control. And I think it's a problem. One of the things that made me think of this is I was told right after rock, paper, hand grenades this evening, as we were outside, Gary S. Hopper, the Honorable Gary S. Hopper, New Hampshire State Legislature, as we were outside the building, told me a story of a gentleman. And this person is a prime example of someone who should be sterilized before he breeds. The gentleman, his name is John T. Murrett, I assume is how you pronounce his last name, M-U-R-R-E-T-T, from Quincy, who, well, here, let me just read you the story, and then you can judge for yourselves if this is someone who needs to be sterilized, if it's not too late, before he continues his bloodline. The title of the story, and this is from the Patriot Ledger website, patriotledger.com, and the story is Quincy man charged with hiding loaded gun in Boston playground.
Crazy.
Yes. Here's the story. A Quincy man stashed a loaded handgun in a playground while he went into a Boston nightclub, and he later returned to find it missing, according to Suffolk County District Attorney Daniel Conley's office. John T. Murrett, 26, was arraigned on one count of improper storage of a firearm in Boston Municipal Court on Tuesday. He was released on his promise to return to court for his next scheduled hearing, according to a press release from Conley's office. Prosecutors say Murrett tried to get into Club Royale in Boston's Theater District on Saturday night, but was refused entry after staff patted him down and found he was carrying a Ruger LC9 semi-automatic handgun. The weapon was legally registered to Murrett, and he had a license to carry it, but the club doesn't allow firearms. Murrett allegedly walked a few blocks away and stashed the handgun under a bush at a playground, then returned to the club and was allowed inside. Shortly after 1:30 a.m. Sunday, Murrett returned to the front door and asked staff members if anyone had turned in the gun, which he allegedly said had been stolen from his car. But Murrett later allegedly told police he had hidden the gun in the bushes and it was missing when he went to retrieve it. He also allegedly told police that he always carries a gun and that it was loaded. Police searched the area but could not find the gun. Moret was arrested and officers seized his license to carry a firearm.
They need to
In a
do
playground.
much more than that, and sterilization is one of them.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
But on the plus side, you want to see what I got Saturday in Boston? I know.
What'd you get?
I got a Luger semi-auto handgun.
You are not kidding.
He's not kidding.
Where was I Saturday night?
Saturday night?
I was in New York City.
I didn't see. Oh, you
I
said
found
you-
plenty of handguns in New York City,
Oh,
though.
I'm sure. Okay.
Did you
Stop
find any in
pulling our legs.
bushes?
I did.
But worse, in a playground
Yes.
park of all places where the kids can get. If they didn't find it, and it's still there.
Where
kids can
kids
find
or
it.
Mexican cartels could grab it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they're really a big problem in the Boston area.
So
Go to
Fast and
Mexico.
Furious.
Oh, that could be what it is. He probably was working for Fast and Furious
Yep.
and intentionally put it there so a Mexican
This
cartel
guy looks
could get it.
probably in his 20s.
He's 26,
Yeah. 26.
Well, he's not very smart.
and no.
No.
So he's one that needs to be sterilized. He must not be allowed to continue to breed.
I'm typically for people who can carry a weapon
Yes, but they're gonna be responsible.
and register as long as they are responsible. This makes me just hate the Second Amendment right now.
It would have been
Here's
safer
the
to
thing.
put it in his car.
What,
And lock
what
the
would
door.
be the smarter decision? To go home because the bar doesn't allow
Or lock it in your
firearms.
trunk or something.
Go home and buy like a 12 rack of Bud Light or hide your gun. How much is this man's obsession with Club Royale that he had to go?
Hide it in the kid's
yeah.
playground.
Was he looking for poontang and
It doesn't affect how I feel about
Well-
the Second Amendment. It's just how I feel about stupid people.
You know Boston, what kind of a club is that?
It said in the third district. I'm not familiar with it, but there's been a lot of changes. They put up the W Hotel in the 3 or 4 years that I didn't have my license. All of a sudden, that structure came up. So,
That's a pretty respectable hotel.
but there's a lot of bars there that serve $12 drinks, $12 beers.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm just curious as to what possessed this man to go hide his gun so that he could go back to this bar. How good was that bar? That's my question. How good
Yeah.
was it? Was there a lot of tail there? Was he?
Of all the parks,
on
you
the
had to
honeys.
find a playground.
I really don't know the straight terms, so I'm just going with honeys.
The worst thing is, because the thing I'm most offended by is just his stupidity. And the worst thing is, he probably thought he was being clever. When he hid the gun, he probably thought, "Oh, I'm smart. I'm hiding the gun."
Where did he park that he couldn't put the gun in the car?
That's right.
He probably took its boss, and he probably took the T.
That's
Well,
true.
then you should have taken it back. I mean, if you're gonna, I'm in favor of carrying the gun because he was licensed for it, but you can't be responsible. I'm glad they took away his license.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
He's
Yeah.
a danger to society.
Yes.
I mean, I think he is, but he is.
Well, I hope he does some time.
Do you think he should have a permanent suspension, or do you think it should be something like maybe a 10-year probation?
Well,
where he's not
definitely
allowed to?
maybe 10-year. I wouldn't say probation, 10 years
I think
suspension.
by 36, hopefully he's smart.
Yeah,
and
I'd
well
say
up.
it's more like a 10-year suspension. I wouldn't say probation if you do it again. No, take the gun away. Find the
Right.
gun and take it away.
I think he should be permanently not allowed to have a firearm.
The
agree.
sad thing is somebody obviously got the gun.
Mhm.
If it's a true story to begin with, someone's got the gun, and if they commit a crime, look how responsible he's going to have to be for that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we'll move on. Another story that caught my eye is Chuck Norris is taking some criticism today.
Chuck
Wow.
Norris is a god.
Well,
I'd like to preface this by saying I have no ill will towards Chuck Norris because he could kick my ass.
right, of course.
You probably could.
I think that's on one of
I
those
know.
posters.
Yes.
The facts about Chuck Norris. Chuck
Underneath.
Norris can kick Chris Rose's ass.
It's true.
Including yours.
It's a Chuck
Yes.
Norris fact.
Yes. This is from the Nation Now website. Chuck Norris is a Republican, very conservative guy. I believe he endorsed Mike Huckabee
Yes, he
last time around.
did. He did.
Mm-hmm.
The title of the article is Chuck Norris blasts Obama over pro-gay Boy Scout stance. Everything's Obama's fault, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
The author is Renee Lynch. I'll read this to you quickly. Real-life action figure Chuck Norris is blasting President Obama for allegedly working behind the scenes to create a, quote, pro-gay Boy Scouts of America. I think that's actually in Obama's platform.
I believe so.
For
That's in
re-election.
that is in the gay agenda.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
shit! No, I
It
wasn't
is-
supposed to mention that.
It is part of the militant
You have an
gay
agenda?
agenda.
If it was pro-gay when I was a kid, I'd enjoy it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Norris, an action star and well-known conservative and gun rights activist, made the charges in a piece posted Tuesday on AmmoLand.com, a site dedicated to shooting sports news.
Ammoland it is. Okay.
AmmoLand, yes. Norris suggests that Americans take a closer look at the recent headlines made when James Turley, a Boy Scouts of America national board member, announced that he will work from within the scouting organization to change its long-standing position barring gay scouts and gay scout leaders. Turley is also chairman and executive of Ernst & Young. Norris asks in this article, quote, is Turley working on his own initiative, or has the White House prodded him with perks and favors?
It's too easy.
Norris asked this in an article which also suggests that Obama has tossed several political plums Turley's way so that he will carry out what he describes as the White House's pro-gay agenda. He goes on to say, quote, is it a coincidence that Turley is in tight cahoots with the White House and that he is the only BSA national board member in 100 years to oppose its pro-traditional family stance? Unquote. The article also seems to criticize Obama for what Norris sees as the administration's favoritism on illegal immigrants, homosexuals, atheists, and agnostics over Christians and U.S. taxpayers.
They're going too far.
Wow. Let me see. I'm a homosexual, an agnostic, a Christian, and a U.S. taxpayer.
Or you
He
can
nailed
be,
them. He nailed almost all
You
of them.
can be an.
I am also an immigrant, but I'm not an illegal
You
immigrant.
can be an
Because my
agnostic
family
and
is
still be a
immigrants.
Christian at the same time.
I can.
Okay.
The article is largely written as a series of provocative questions, not statements. For example, quote, is it a coincidence that Obama will stand up repeatedly for the children of illegal immigrants and grant them amnesty and taxpayer money, but that he will not once stand up for children in the BSA and the organization's rights and freedoms to hold their own core values and beliefs?
That's not true.
Is it a coincidence that as the honorary BSA president and a constitutional lawyer, Obama hasn't had 1 minute in his schedule over the past years to defend or say anything about the series of lawsuits that have been levied against the BSA because of its First Amendment rights to stand against atheists, agnostics, and homosexuals? Neither Norris's representatives nor AmmoLand responded to questions for comment by the time this article was posted. A reaction posted on the AmmoLand.com article, which is currently one of the most popular on the site, runs the gamut. Among the comments, can someone tell me what the hell this has to do with gun rights? That's a good question to ask. Another person wrote, a very great and true article by Mr. Norris. Norris, meanwhile, was taking a knock over on Twitter. Quote, shame on you at Chuck Norris for your discrimination against homosexual kids. Such backlash is a rarity on the social media platform, home to a long-running stream of Chuck Norris chatter that celebrates his mythic martial arts skills.
You know what's so funny, Matt, is that, and Chris, is that
Okay.
they have this mentality.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris fact at the bottom there.
Yeah.
They have this mentality that it's just wrong for gays to get married because it will destroy the morality of the straights. When in effect, 57% of the straight married couples get divorced between 5 and 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't cause that. And then now they're saying that they don't want. We all know they don't want a gay Boy Scouts. If you're gay, they don't want you in the Boy Scouts.
Right.
But they're going to deprive you from joining your own gay Boy Scout group. I mean, gay people work hard like other Americans. They pay taxes like other Americans. Are they entitled to the same equal rights? Obviously not by the GOP.
Yes, yes. He who shall not be named, because he's a very private person, I don't think he wants me saying his name, but he is a avid viewer and listener of the show, says, Chuck Norris did a commercial saying he wants a Bible class in every public school. Our founding fathers would have wanted this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you know what? Chuck Norris, too, he seems to be playing into this idea that some conservatives perpetuate this notion that if you don't somehow do something or say something that directly attacks homosexuals in some way, then obviously you are supporting this imaginary gay militant agenda that we've talked about on the show.
It's not imaginary.
Well, you should know, but you're not supposed to. You're not
Nope.
supposed to be secret that
I have not been to the meetings.
You're supposed to keep the gay militant agenda itself in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're onto you.
And let's talk a little bit about these. I think it's 8 million young men and women between birth and 30 years old. First of all, these kids, these so-called kids or young Americans, were brought to this country by their parents before they were of legal age.
Mm-hmm.
They went through our school systems, which we paid for as taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
Some have gone through college. They have great jobs. They own home and property or businesses, and they pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather them become American citizens than have people like the cartel come here illegally and commit crimes.
Right.
They're the ones we need to get rid of. These people are innocent, and since when do we attack the innocent? They were brought here by their parents. They didn't jump the fence willingly.
Well, of course, you're talking about Obama's decision to allow, under a certain age, children who were brought here illegally by their parents brought into the country.
And how about Reagan? Did he give them
stay.
amnesty when he was there?
Reagan did do amnesty, yes. But
Well,
of
I
course,
guess that would be a no-no today, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
well, Reagan in many ways would be labeled a liberal today.
So he wouldn't be their favorite son anymore, although I'm ashamed to say
Oh
that.
no! Reagan is the messiah to the conservative Republicans. They love Reagan, but
Well, they don't act like it anymore.
But they don't like his they wouldn't like his policies
today.
well, it's no different than you have Christians who like Gandhi said, I love your Christ, I just don't like your Christians, or so unlike your Christ.
But
It's really the same thing with the Reagan worshippers.
But isn't that being a little bit hypocritical? I adore Reagan, but I don't like his policies. You can't have
Of
both.
course, Reagan.
He's the same person.
Look at Reagan's relationship with Tip O'Neill.
Yes.
They argued all the time, but each
They were
considered
friends.
each other friends.
Yes.
When it was over, it was over.
Yep.
There's no room for that now.
Oh no, that's
No,
why we don't have
no.
any moderates anymore.
And another Republican today, either today or yesterday, mentioned, God forbid, the word compromise. That our government cannot continue working the way it is unless we make a compromise. And he acknowledged the fact that compromise is worse than using the F word in the House and the Senate.
Well, look at, I'm going to say it probably wrong, but Representative and House Speaker John Boehner.
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 It's spelled Boehner.
He made an announcement
He's
today
not fooling us.
on some of the national networks, like in the morning news, that if the Supreme Court around 10 a.m. tomorrow decides to throw away just part of the Obamacare, he said by Friday morning I'll have a bill on the desk saying get rid of it all. And the reporter said, what happens to the good parts of it? We don't care. We'll start back from scratch. But you're going to be hurting hundreds of thousands of people. They don't care.
Yep.
Well, that's just politics.
That is politics.
But
for those of the viewers who are interested, it's as of 10:15 tomorrow morning. The Supreme Court should come back with their decision on the healthcare reform.
that'll be very interesting.
It will be.
But
We should carry it live.
we'll carry it live.
Carry it live, do it live.
But
Will you join me in Washington?
You know I can't. I cannot not hear that and
yeah.
And not
do
what?
my Bill O'Reilly
Yes,
impression.
yes. But no, but the Chuck Norris thing. I mean, it like I said, it just speaks to this tendency among the extreme right conservatives who, unless you're, it's like you have to be actively attacking homosexuals in some way, and then they wonder why homosexuals get defended. It's like Santorum with the man on dog thing. And then they don't understand why gays are so. What are you looking at?
He did this.
Oh,
There we go.
all right. Yes, and then they wonder why gays are so put off by the Republican Party.
You know,
Not all of them, too. That's the thing.
No.
They're still the
For
log cabin
every-
Republicans.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
for every
For gay
for
rights.
every minority that the GOP does not want to support and are paying taxes,
Mhm.
maybe those minorities should stop paying taxes on those sections because, after all, they're not being supported by the government. I mean, they're not. So why would you pay taxes if you're not a willing participant? If you're not,
Participant.
If they're not going to let you live the life that everybody else lives. That's We're going backwards in this country. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
Actually, one of the funny things I find about the illegal immigration argument is conservatives will say, well, these people come into the country and they use our services and they don't pay any taxes.
But that's not true in these
Right. It's not true. It's actually physically impossible to be in the United States of America and actively participating in the economy on any level and not pay taxes.
You're right.
We're taxed on everything. I mean, you cannot be a part of the United States economy. You can't be in this country and not pay taxes, whether it's even if you're not paying income tax, you're still paying. You have, like in New Hampshire, we have meal taxes and grocery taxes.
And in most states, you have sales tax. It means everything's got
Right.
the sun is tax.
Right, of course. Of course.
You have cigarette tax.
Even if you're
using
even if you're employed and you're using a fake social security number,
Like the president.
What's that?
Like the president.
Yes.
So that was his birth record that was fake. As mine, I guess. I can't get an ID.
According to Orly
Are you from
Tates.
Kenya? Orly Tates, yeah.
No, I'm from Maine. That's still part of
Orly
the country.
Tates
Yes.
was on one of my favorite liberal talk shows yesterday
really?
morning, and they were tearing her a new one, and she was just all polite and everything. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, no, go on. Really, what else did the president do? Like, they were just goading her, and
Really?
she was feeding right into it.
Now, did you hear I didn't hear the GOP this week when they announced yesterday that North Carolina is the first state in the union to have gas below $3. It's $2.98. They didn't say, "Oh, the president did that." After all, it's the president that put it at $4 a gallon, according
But
to that.
that's every president.
Of
we
course
blame
it is. We know
Bush
that. We blame
when the-
Bush, and it still wasn't his fault either.
Right.
No, Americans like to think
It's
that
politics.
that in the desk in the Oval Office there's some sort of knob or
Magic button, and you just
Let's turn it up.
the president controls the price of gas. Yeah, so I think what Obama did in terms of illegal immigration was the right move. I'd like to see it go further. I mean, one thing though I think is positive in terms of that issue is that I think that it's been a long time since I've heard anyone talk about rounding them all up and deporting them, which I think is a positive step forward. That the dialogue seems to have evolved. And that we've kind of left. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure right now there's some inbred hick somewhere saying, "Oh, we got to round them all up and send them home."
But they're not saying it at a Republican debate at CNN.
The GOP
Exactly,
does not like the
exactly.
word evolve. That's a presidential word.
Well, evolving is bad because evolving is that evolution comes from science, and that's against the Bible. So they don't like evolving.
I'll tell you
But,
this here, and I'm a Christian. Christ took 7 days to create the globe, to create life in the world, and you
Christ
know what?
did that? I thought that was his dad.
They're all the same.
They're all the same.
Oh, I forgot. That's
Three in
right.
one.
The Trinity.
So
Yes.
just remember, if that's true, then in 7 days, God evolved the process. So wake up, GOP. The word means the same thing. There's no difference.
Okay.
Well, you told them.
You were asking me how I can be a Christian and an agnostic. I believe in Christ's teaching that we should love one another, but I need proof that he exists. That's how I'm
Well, in some ways, that makes you more of a
You're
Christian than a lot of
Thomas.
Christians.
Doubting Thomas.
Yeah,
And he
I
existed
believe-
2,000 years ago.
I believe in
Over
his
2,000.
teachings.
Most Christians don't believe in his teachings.
Nope.
There's a lot of, and not all Christians, but it's funny if you were to literally, even the most ardent Christian, do you realize if you were to literally follow the teachings of Christ, we would have to eliminate the criminal justice system in this country? If you seriously, if you were to take that to the furthest extreme and say, I am such a Christian, I believe everything Christ said. Well, Christ said, don't throw stones, don't judge people. Christ said, turn the other cheek. So in theory, if you're a true Christian, if you really believe in everything Christ said, you'd have to give away all your wealth and money.
Yeah.
Do nothing but serve others, help the poor, and put others ahead of yourself. And we'd have no criminal justice system in this country because after all, Christ said, turn the other cheek. There'd be no punishment. Let God deal with it.
Right.
Well, he also
Let
said,
your-
hate the sin but love the sinner. And there's so much hate
Yes.
of the sinner, not the
Yeah,
sin.
and who's to say homosexuality is a sin?
That's right.
Taking the Christian
And who's
fundamentalists
to
out
say-
of this.
Right.
And who's
Where
to
the
s-
Bible doesn't
And why
say.
do some of these hypocrites who claim that sexuality is such a condemned thing, and they turn around and they cheat on their wives or they cheat on their taxes? Come on, grow up.
Divorce is a sin.
Or shut up.
Newt.
Practice what you preach or shut up.
Yep.
Yes.
And by the way, to clarify, we're talking about Christ's teaching and not everything that's in the Bible, because everything that's in the Bible, if you took it
A lot of it was
literally,
men.
we still couldn't eat shellfish. Women could still be stoned if they step out of line. Things like that. We
Right.
could sell our wives to our neighbors.
The next thing you'll have
Right.
the Republicans say that it's time for us to not allow women vote anymore so they can get out of Congress. And after all, they're getting a lot of blame right now. These liberal or even some Republican ladies are saying we're really being bashed by our own parties.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, we sidetracked.
Yeah.
Sorry that.
We
This is Sidetracked with Matt Connarton.
quite all right. Yeah, we're all over the place tonight.
This is what happens when I
That's
come
what
back.
happens. You don't have a guest.
No, we usually don't have guests. If anyone wants to call in, feel free. I should open Skype if anyone wants to.
Skype,
with us.
IPM Nation on Skype.
Now that June is over, as of next week, we'll try to get Luz Alessandro in July because we haven't gotten him yet.
Oh, Jesus, I need some rest. I'm looking forward to July.
You are.
We have no more festivals, right? Coming up. No.
The
no,
city announced today that as of every Thursday, as of July 12th, for 5 weeks in a row, so the last 2 weeks in July, or 3 weeks in July and 2 weeks in August, there will be a live free concert at Veterans Park.
Oh, well, that's excellent.
We will film that.
I don't
on
have to
Thursday
drive.
nights. No, you don't have to drive.
All right. So.
Somebody still owes me gas money. I'm kidding.
So what else have we got? So we talked about Chuck Norris. We talked about the idiot in Massachusetts. Medical marijuana failed to pass here in New Hampshire.
We could not get the
That one I
vote
was
to
surprised.
override.
Governor
Because
Lynch
there's enough of
vetoed
them
it.
that voted for it to begin with. I was sure that one would have been overdriven.
I see a lot of
surprised.
proponents for it, but at the same time, Governor Lynch has a really good point, which is where does it start getting out of hand?
I
Where
don't argue that
if the
point.
state or federal government is not cultivating it, if we're letting private citizens cultivate it, then it could potentially get out of hand or get into the wrong hands. But I think it should be still allowed in the United States. That way we're taking the power away from the Mexican cartels, everyone who controls marijuana sales illegally, if you make it legal. But I mean, I'm not against alcohol, but I don't think everybody should have a brewery in their house unless they have the right safety precautions. I'm not against smoking, obviously, but I don't think everybody should be harvesting tobacco at their homes.
Basically, that's one of the reasons why I'm so surprised, because in the House and Senate, the original bill was passed overwhelmingly that if the governor would have vetoed it, and he did, that they were sure, because of the amount of people that voted for
The
it.
high people.
Yeah, they're high, all
You
right.
thought that. Please tell me you got
That they would
Yes.
override it, and they didn't. So somebody somewhere's had a second choice, change of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually a libertarian on the marijuana issue. I say just flat out legalize it, and especially I'm especially in favor of medical marijuana. I think the anti-medical marijuana arguments are indefensible, personally. I think because this is what it comes down to for me. I look at things, and a lot of conservatives have a hard time with this. But I try to look at things from a standpoint of having some compassion for people. And look, I mean, I'm sorry, but if somebody is dying of cancer or any other terminal illness and they're suffering and they want to get stoned, let them.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Just don't drive with it.
I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the mind of someone who can look at someone who's freaking dying and say, "Oh, sorry, you can't have that."
But on the other side of the flip coin, when you're in the hospital and you're dying of cancer, they put so much morphine in you. What's the difference?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't, make morphine at home either.
And it seems to me it's worse than marijuana because
Or
you're
can you?
so out of it. You're so out of it. You couldn't walk out of your bed.
It's a meth lab.
You couldn't walk out of your bed and do anything. That's
Right.
how much you're out of it.
A lot of people claim they drive better if they're stoned, actually, because
Well, I
they're
don't know if
more
I want to agree with
they're
that.
more paranoid and careful,
Yeah, you think so?
so they're less likely to speed. I wouldn't know.
Well, yes, they do say that they drive
I
a
had dinner
little.
with somebody last night who
They drive a little
took a
slower.
bong hit
but
before
it-
he went home, and
Yeah.
I just
It
made sure that he
doesn't
was
mean
all
because
right.
they drive
Yeah.
a little slower that they're more careful.
I make no judgment.
Well, I'm not making judgment, but
I've
I'm
never
just
driven
saying
stone.
until it's proven, I'm
I live
not.
with a guy who smokes pot every day. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Well, I don't need it 'cause as long as I don't smoke it, I don't have to
No.
smell it.
I think it's
little worry that he might be selling it, but
whatever. You just know you're going to get your half of the rent on time.
that's true. He always does.
There you go. There you
Too
go.
much information.
It's just, you know.
Well, right now in today's society with today's laws, I'm afraid that he's doing it because then I could be, if he is,
In a conflict.
that's a big if.
Does your roommate watch this show?
You should.
It's not him I'm worried about.
Oh, right.
I
everybody
got a
else.
hot tip about actually take my name off the show. That'd be great.
Well, what we're going to do is when we post the show afterward, we're going to write that it was Congressman Frank Inta who was the guest.
Oh, excellent.
A little bit of an inside joke there. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But you know, I just think it's silly that, and again, this is the libertarian view that I have on this. We live in a country where if you want to drink yourself into a coma, as far as the government's concerned, that's fine.
Just don't drive.
But if you know, at the end of the day, in most states, if you want a couple bong hits to relax or whatever, well, now you're a dangerous criminal, and we need to put you in prison. And I believe it's 1 in 6 people in our prisons in this country are in prison for something marijuana related, not just
A small
drug
amount,
related.
mind you.
Right? Oh, sure. And it's
Such
our
a
prisons
waste
are
of government
full.
money,
Yep.
and then
Yes.
these people, when they're in jail, well, they can't go to work the next day. They're in jail. They're not
Right.
supporting their families. The government is. What's going on?
Yeah,
It's
It's
making
madness.
things worse. It is madness.
it's madness.
It is madness.
There's no logic or common sense.
Well,
to it.
look. Did you know I found that out through you people that did, 'cause I watched the hand grenade. Gary was saying that it's
There was no handmade. He forgot
no,
it.
he forgot. How can he? But anyway, it's the only department, the prison department in the state prison in Burlington that got a 3% increase this year because they needed it, and they claimed there wasn't enough money. They need to close the prison. Well, you know what? Don't close the prisons. Get rid of the prisoners who don't belong in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Make them pay the fine and do what they need to do, but don't leave them there for 30 days to 6 months on smoking a little marijuana the first time around. Come
Yeah.
on. In this country, we're either too lenient on some of the laws or we're too strict. For example, if you commit murder, it's easy to get to Canada. But if you're caught for drunken driving, it's very difficult to get to Canada.
I think in a post 9/11 world, it's actually very difficult to cross the border into Canada and vice versa.
You need a
It's eas-
passport now.
It's easier to cross Canada than it is
Yeah.
to come back.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean,
We're the ones
our
that are-
side is
we're the ones that
much
are making it
more
tough.
strict.
Someone was telling me
We
that
need
recently.
the passport.
Now, speaking of this, did you read about the Supreme Court's decision on capital
Immigration-
punishment?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed this, and that's a hot button issue.
That is a hot
president.
button, especially where this may concern Stephen Spader, who is one of the masterminds behind the Kimberly Cates murder in Mount Vernon.
And how old is this?
He was 17 when he was convicted for a life sentence.
Do you know that in New Hampshire, you got to be 18 to vote legally, but you can be 16 to drive, and for sexual purposes, it's 16 for girls and 17 for guys. So why are they so?
Actually, I would go to WMUR. That's where I've read
Oh,
the
really?
story.
Is the national rule?
They
Is the national rule on the age different than the New Hampshire one?
I
know
would
every
have to
state
read the
has a different
story.
age.
The
Well, I read the
situation is
story,
there's
but-
4 convicted criminals
Yes, they are.
that were arrested at the age of 17 and prosecuted at the age of 17 that apparently are now eligible for parole despite being sentenced to life without parole.
If they were
Because they're
4
saying it's cruel and unusual.
If they were 12 or 14 or
Um,
10, something like that is different. But 17,
If you click on local news,
I don't buy it. Not
Oh,
at
sorry.
17.
Mhm.
if you go up here and click on local news, stupid
Oh.
MUR.
Oh, they're pretty smart. You didn't know that?
Oh, actually, I like the stupid web designer, I should say. But there is a story that links Steven Spader to this part of the.
So they're gonna have to retry it.
Yeah. Okay.
More.
Sorry.
So you're talking about the state Supreme Court?
No, that was the federal Supreme Court. Was it not?
It was the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah, the
Okay.
federal Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of the United States.
But they did pass saying that life sentence without parole is cruel and unusual punishment, despite the fact that the heinous murders were cruel and unusual to begin with.
And they no longer have a life to lead. You took it away.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And what do we
Kate's
do?
family has to live without their mother.
We're not beating these prisoners that did such heinous crimes. They're in jail. They eat 3 meals a day. They get fed. They get clothed. You know, they have TVs in their rooms. Come on. Again, we are going to the deep end here. It's either one way or the other. Where's the balance? Of course.
Do they have internet? Do you think they get
to
to watch the show?
They may. They do have internet because they teach classes or they take classes through the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
Some become lawyers.
No. I'd want to be a lawyer if I were in prison.
And they're not paying for the courses. We are.
That's right.
We got to pay for ours, though. So you know what? It's just going too far. 17 years old. If that was 8, 10, 12, maybe even 14, but 17 years old, and by the time this guy in particular, by the time he finally got found guilty, he was just turning 18 or very close to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Where's the balance? That's wrong. It's wrong, and it's an insult to the family of the victims.
Oh, I agree.
That's not the America that I know or want to know.
I did find it. This is from the Huffington Post. The Supreme Court on Monday abolished the imposition of mandatory sentences of life without parole for all juveniles convicted of murder. Justice Elena Kagan, writing for the 5-4 majority, said by requiring that all children convicted of homicide receive lifetime incarceration without possibility of parole, regardless of their age and age-related characteristics and the nature of their crimes, the mandatory sentencing schemes before us violate this principle of proportionality. So the 8th Amendment's ban on cruel and unusual punishment.
So they didn't set an age, though. How old did they set?
I believe the 8th Amendment states for this Justice Alito wrote that after Thursday's decision, even a 17-and-a-half-year-old who sets off a bomb in a crowded mall or guns down a dozen students and teachers is a child and must be given a chance to persuade a judge to permit his release into society.
By God,
Wow.
the
Holy hell! You're saying
huh?
that by 17, if you don't have your head out of your ass at that point in life.
Well, I will say this, though. I generally oppose mandatory sentencing. I think judges should have discretion when it comes to sentencing, because mandatory sentencing, I think as a concept, is actually in some cases creates larger problems than it solves.
Yeah.
Why can't the judge hearing the case
You're
have
right.
the maximum discretion allowable? You know, for example, in California, does that still exist in California, the 3 strikes law, or did that finally get tossed
A lot
out?
of states still have that. We have still have
I
that
still
here.
hear it often
I know
referred
prisoners
to,
that are in
but I
jail
don't
because of
know
the third
if
strike.
Really? See, I disagree with that. I think the 3 strikes law is
It depends how violent the crime was. There has to be some balance somewhere.
Yeah, because
if a guy commits murder, every time he gets out of jail, he keeps committing murder, and this is his 3rd strike. Am I going to trust he's going to do it again? No way I'm not going to trust he's not going to do it.
No, but someone who commits murder should be stuck in prison.
Yeah,
for,
there has to be.
Yes.
Depends what the
But
crime is.
I see. I agree with Matt on this too about the mandatory sentencing, because that gives no leeway. That the judge has to make a decision based on the law as opposed to based on hearing the facts and making his or her own determination as to whether, okay, do I feel that you could be rehabilitated? Nope, we're sending you away. In the case of Stephen Spader, from what I've read throughout the entire trial, because we watched this closely, because it was so close to home, Mount Vernon is not that far away from Manchester. My belief is that this was a cold-blooded case, that it was premeditated, and I do believe he should be spending his life behind bars.
Right. I've no
There's
quarrel
people
with
who
that.
it was in the heat of passion, or maybe in some cases it was truly self-defense. But the judge will say some cases.
Some cases.
Okay. Not the George Zimmerman case.
Say,
You can. Don't get me started on the George Zimmerman case. He was an unarmed teenager.
Well, today,
plain and simple, unarmed teenager that you were following.
The prosecution in Florida stated that 2 things that they're concerned about after looking over the phone calls and all the evidence, and they're saying now that he should have notified the kid what he was doing there. He was doing a job. He needs to know. And plus, the rule is if you're doing that. You're not supposed to carry the arm. You're supposed to call the police. You are the observer.
And he was.
Right.
He was on the phone with the police who told him
Not
do not
to.
follow him.
Are
So
you following him? Yes.
that one's
Do not.
it's insane to me. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane that people are still on his side.
So why is it that some can
that's so much
follow-
that he raised $150,000.
Yes, and he told him.
Oh, it's because he killed a black kid.
And then he said it was $850.
If he'd killed a white kid, you wouldn't have all these conservatives
What
and Rush
bothered-
Limbaugh and everybody.
No,
coming
because
to his
he'll be the
defense.
Latino. He'll be the minority that
Right,
killed the
exactly,
majority. Yeah.
exactly.
What bothers me is that it seems when the government writes a law, it's okay for certain people to break the law, and it's not okay for others. It doesn't work that way. Not supposed to anyway.
It's not supposed to, no.
And it needs to end, because if it doesn't, you wonder why we have moral problems in this country, or we have discipline problems. Yeah, morality's gone out the window, and it isn't the homosexual that caused that either. Look in your own homes
No, you have the Republican morals, which is their own morals that they use.
for themselves.
Yes, and they use specific sections of the Bible.
And it's okay for them to break their own morals.
Yeah.
Lord forbid that we discover it, but if we don't discover it, it's okay.
If I recall, greed is still one of the 7 deadly sins.
Greed?
Yep.
Oh, hey, that's class warfare. What are you doing?
I know. How
They
dare I?
said today on the news that since they did like a type of an amnesty for the IRS, if you admit that you were and you pay them back their money and you tell them where you have money hidden in the Caribbeans or any other country,
The Cayman Islands,
yeah,
yes.
Cayman Islands, any other country, that they made $5 billion in the last 2 or 3 years. People admitting it, without paying penalty. Just pay what you owe and
Mhm.
tell us what you know and don't do it again. They must have loved that $5 billion, though, don't they?
Yep. Did we see any of it? Nope.
Yeah, where did it go? Probably to pay all the lawyers. Lawyers won't like me now.
No. So, all right. So that was interesting about the Supreme Court. That one got by me.
Yes.
'Cause,
And
you know,
tomorrow should be interesting too.
And speaking of Florida cases, one other thing that I want to mention is I don't know if anyone's read that Jose Baez,
Yeah.
who was the lead defending attorney in the Casey Anthony case, is coming out with a book that will be published either in July or August. And he basically says, she is a pathological liar. I knew it. Everybody knew it. But the prosecution could not for the life of them build a case off of it.
they shouldn't have gone for, was it Murder 1? That they
I
went
believe it
for?
was.
Yeah, they
Should have gone for
And
second
she
degree.
lives,
yeah, they overreached.
I believe his words were, she lives in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that where the word greed comes in? You try to get too much and you end up losing.
Good point, Glenn.
It
The
sounds
prosecution was greedy.
yeah, they were, and it sounds to me like he's not rubbing it in the prosecution's face, like,
Right.
haha, we got away with it.
They
It's
would
almost
never
as if
do
he was
that.
pleading to the prosecution, listen to me. Here, listen to what she has to say. Try and put the facts together. Try and build a case. It's almost as if he was rooting against his own client.
Well, on some level, deep down, he probably was.
It's
you know,
true.
I mean, I'm sure his conscience was bothering
I'm sure
him
there's
a
plenty
little
of lawyers who know things about their clients that, because of attorney privilege, client privilege, they can't share.
Mm-hmm.
hmm I was once represented by an attorney who knew that I was a reptilian shapeshifter, but
I know, I saw you in the final shift.
I just said that out loud.
You did.
Now
Now we all know.
we're gonna have to edit that.
Now we all know. But forget editing it. The ones that are watching it live know it.
Reptilian shapeshifter.
Well, stop! I'm gonna get in
Thousands of
trouble.
Viewers.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Are you like V, the TV show?
I can't confirm or deny what it's like. I just said I.
Although no, they were reptiles who wore human masks.
Weren't they? They
I
were.
think.
Were they? I never saw a V.
You never saw one? How can you claim you're one then?
No, I never saw
the
a
TV
V.
series.
Oh, the TV
or
series.
the
Oh.
1983 miniseries.
Yeah, never got into it. Never got into it. So,
Right.
so what else? So what else? Now I'm curious. So what else happened that I don't know about? Because I didn't know about this Supreme Court ruling.
Arizona.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes.
I'm sorry. I'm like,
Why
what's the big Supreme Court
You know,
decision?
well,
Arizona.
When you have a case like that, it's
Jan
either,
Brewer, you
it's either
filthy
yes,
whore, you
She's,
won.
she's claiming victory.
it's
Yeah.
either
You
yes
bony
or no.
bitch.
And now we have a Supreme Court that is so divided. For them to get along now, we'll say yes to this part, no to that part, maybe to that part. They split it. Again, where's the moderacy here? Where's the balance? It creates more of a problem to the nation than anything else.
Well, I would take that differently, Glenn. I think that they're able to agree on some parts and disagree on others shows that they're not all. I think the Supreme Court, to use the example of the Arizona case, regardless of how I may feel about it personally, I think that's an example of how it should be, where you have several different people who, some are liberal, some are conservative, but they're also capable of enough independent thought where, some of them can say, well, we do like this part, but we're not sure about this part, and we don't like this part. And there's not, see, when you have a group of people who all agree or they all agree completely on one side and agree, and the rest of them agree completely on the other side.
What you'll end up having is a rock, paper, scissors discussion where half the time you're always going to pick scissors and the other half of the time you're going to pick paper. So
which is how our government works now.
That's a good point, but let me give you the devil's advocate. Now that that's happened, the GOP has already made it clear, okay, now we're going to let go the other side, and even the parts that the courts agreed with, the GOP is going to destroy it in the House and Senate of Congress. It's the same thing with Obamacare. If they decide to do away with just parts of it, Boehner, whatever his name is, already made it clear that by the next day, he'll have a bill in the House to do away with the entire bill, no matter who it hurts. It's they rule, not us, the people. We can't decide for ourselves. We're just not intelligent, are we? They should vote for the presidency, not us, not our right. It's their right as Congress to make sure that this president doesn't get a second chance, a second term.
Well, according to Mitch McConnell.
I thought the voters did that.
What did everyone think of the decision that was made in Arizona? Specifically, the one that I think everyone's been talking about is, of course, the
papers, please.
The papers, please. Yes, thank you. That's probably the best nickname that you can.
We all know that no matter where you are in this
to me,
country,
that's the epitome of racial profiling.
Yeah. I'll admit that there isn't, but we all know that there is. And so if there wasn't, it would be another story. But I don't live in Arizona, but let's face it, it's happening.
Yeah. I was listening to the Stephanie Miller show this morning, and Hal Sparks, a comedian and actor, she has him on every Wednesday, made a great analogy. He was like imitating the police officers in Arizona, saying, "Oh, there's a white guy in his 20s. He has a machete. He's heading towards a school ground filled with children.
Okay,
and there's a brown guy. There's a brown guy in a car. Stop him.
Get his papers.
What about the guy with the machete? No, never mind. He's white. Get the brown guy."
Yeah. Do you know what's even worse? Is if we were to throw all the illegals out, and I don't think they should be here, especially the ones that their parents and that who did it illegal purposely and they knew what they were doing. But the point is, if you threw them all out, who will take over their jobs? Look what happened in Atlanta last year, in Georgia. They did that, and they didn't allow any immigrants to come back.
Yeah,
to take peaches.
We are a country of apathetic teenagers, apathetic youngsters.
So is that what we're gonna do? Or the price for the fruit?
The older unemployed think they're entitled to a better job. Working at McDonald's? No, I'm much better than that. I'll just continue collecting unemployment.
Well, on the other hand, though, I mean, as you guys know, because you've known me for a while, my dream job, my ultimate career goal, is I want to pick oranges. And,
oranges.
And the last time, and I'm still very bitter about it. The last time I tried to get a job picking oranges, I had the first interview. It went great. I went back for the second interview. I thought I had it, and in walks Juan Sanchez, and next thing I know, they're hiring him.
Well, he got paid less?
Yeah, they got to pay him $1 less an hour, and I think
less educated.
Only other thing, they had to hose him down once a week or whatever. And that damn illegal immigrant took my dream job picking oranges.
You know,
and I'm bitter.
Affirmative action.
Yes, and I'm bitter. I wanted to pick oranges, or my second choice, of course, is to work in a sweatshop. Yes. But I can't get one of those jobs because there's all these illegal Mexicans there.
I'd help you if you tried to become a gardener or a landscaper.
We may be kidding about this stuff.
I'm not even going to try.
Housekeeper.
Yeah.
We may be kidding about this stuff, but in reality, where are the Americans who are out of work and willing to take those jobs, which are less than what they had before? It's been proven time and time again, they don't want to do that work. Well, if they don't do it, what happens?
Juan Sanchez does it.
And not if you throw them out of the country.
No.
So
just like who's going to build that wall? The Mexicans. The ones that we're going to kick out.
So the economy goes down anyway. I mean, you're going to lose all your crop, and
well, that's why too. I've said, you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times, but the Republican Party is completely phony on the issue of immigration anyway, because they throw out the red meat for the voters, talking about how they want to solve the issue and how they hate illegal immigration, but in reality, almost nothing gets done. Prior to Obama, we had 8 years of a Republican president. Well, how much of that wall got finished under Bush? Because the reality is the people who really run the party, the donors, the corporations, the special interest groups.
They don't want it.
Big tobacco, the farmers, they don't want that wall built. They want the cheap labor. Come on, they don't want anything
done. It's not
done.
just the cheap labor. They realize now that if they get rid of them, that even it's cheap labor, the Americans don't want to do the job, so they're going to have to move that.
I had to fire that
another
gardener.
country.
I'm running for president, for peak's sake.
Well, look at people like
Still my favorite, one of my favorite.
Lish Lombard. What's his name?
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh. I sent my maid to get. He actually sent his maid to get his medication.
Oh, his Oxycontin.
And then when she got caught, he says, "I never did that."
Right.
But they were in his name. Excuse me.
No.
You should deport her. Excuse me. You committed a crime.
No, it wasn't under Carmen. It was under Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. I mean, again.
But he gave her a sponge bath afterwards, so it was all good.
Did.
Oh, good.
I mean, he washed her clean.
Google Rush Limbaugh sponge bath if you don't know that joke.
I don't know that joke.
Google.
You gotta Google it.
That was another. It's actually not a. What I said was making fun of Rush Limbaugh.
Limbaugh sponge bath.
Loofah.
Oh, Loofah? Are you sure that you're not thinking of Bill O'Reilly?
No.
How do you spell Loofah?
Loofa.
Oh, okay.
It's an FA.
Oh, with an H at the end. It looks like Rush Limbaugh said. Okay. Is this it?
It was him. It was. Yeah, I think it was Rush Limbaugh. Loofah. If I'm incorrect about this, my apologies. I've just heard it so many times along the same time as Google Santorum.
It's from the compost.
Oh my. Oh, maybe. Oh no, I think this is something else. I don't know. I can't find it.
This was from a while ago.
All right, Chris is looking for it.
5 years ago Tuesday, producer Andrea Marcus filed a sexual harassment lawsuit. Waiting for it to load.
I thought that was O'Reilly.
Was it O'Reilly? Oh, you're right. I think it was O'Reilly.
Google O'Reilly.
The case has been remembered as the Loofah and Falafel case, but there are in reality many memorable quotes Marcus alleged O'Reilly. Sorry. My apologies then. I was attacking the wrong Republican meathead.
Are you going to apologize to Rush?
We'll do it live. I just apologized to Rush.
O'Reilly claims to be an independent.
I don't think
O'Reilly impresses me once in a while.
He is a frequent guest of The Daily Show.
Yes.
So we know he has a sense of humor.
Okay.
Yes, and he was on SNL this season.
Yes.
For a
What up with that?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
Once in a great while, I should clarify, once in a great while, O'Reilly will do something impressive. Like the way that he stuck up for Ellen when the Million Moms was pressuring JCPenney to fire Ellen.
These days.
I haven't heard much from them in a while, but O'Reilly did stick up for Ellen.
Haven't heard from
the Million Moms.
Oh.
They're all getting their vaginas waxed.
Oh,
yes.
Come on. They'll be out voting.
Yes, they will be out voting.
God, if you Google Rush Limbaugh scandal, tons of pages.
Of course.
I mean, the Sarah Fluke is the most recent one, but
yes,
there's the OxyContin scandal.
They should practice what they preach, or shut up.
Yeah, they should just stop.
Put
preaching.
out or shut up.
Yeah, leave the preaching
That's
to
a
the
shame. I was
preachers.
hoping it was him and the loofah.
No. So we probably got time to hit one more issue before we wrap up.
We ran a pretty good
rapid fire.
The hour's already gone, almost, huh?
Almost.
Look, we actually have.
It is.
Where is it? We're delayed.
We're ahead on.
Yes, we have.
It's us watching us watching us watching us watching us.
Yeah, we're even keeping ourselves in touch. Make sure that we don't go beyond the limits. Right?
That's right. We're in touch, so you be in touch. Oh, I just committed trademark infringement.
Did you?
I said we're in touch, so you be in touch. Maybe it's not trademark infringement.
AT&T?
No, that's 2020. But I didn't. I think if I actually closed the show by saying it, that would probably be trademark infringement. I don't know if they even still say that, or did Barbara Walters take that with her when she left the show, or Hugh Downs, or whoever? Is Hugh Downs even still alive?
No, he passed away 2 months ago.
He did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor Hugh Downs.
I think roughly around the same time as Dick Clark, which is probably why there wasn't a lot
I
of.
was gonna say, yeah, because I didn't even realize Hugh Downs.
A
died.
lot of people have died in the past since January.
Yeah, a lot of people die.
Oh no, was it Hugh
Well,
Downs?
people die. People are born.
Holy
people
shit!
die.
No, I think
Yeah,
Hugh Downs
yeah.
is still alive.
For
Circle
every
of
dead
life.
angel is born. So
Who did we
someone-
lose then?
Hugh
What?
Downs. Hugh Downs is still alive. I was gonna say I didn't hear
Oh, it's
anything
not.
about his
It's
death.
the one that did 60 Minutes.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Gee,
That's
I'm getting
who-
everyone mixed up today.
Or it's
All
not Hugh
Wallace.
Downs,
journalists.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Not
What's his name?
Chris Wallace's dad.
Wallace. Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Thank
yes.
you. Yes, it was Mike Wallace. Hugh Downs, February 14th, 1921, age 91, still alive.
Another apology?
He's still in touch.
Oh, of course I apologize.
Hugh Downs is an avid
Mike
viewer of
Wallace.
this
We
show.
lost Mike Wallace around the same time as Dick Clark.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was a shame. I mean, he was. I liked Mike Wallace's
I did
reports.
too. I love the way he reported.
I actually like Chris Wallace because there are two people specifically, precisely two, on Fox News who I think actually care about things like journalistic integrity. And one of them is Shepard Smith from Studio B, and the other is Chris Wallace from Fox News Sunday.
Is that the one that Bill Hader makes fun of on SNL?
Yes, Shepard Smith.
I'm a nasty little boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Shepard Smith. I think he's quite objective. And I like Chris Wallace. I've seen Chris Wallace ask some very tough questions of Republicans.
We have an audience.
And
Yes,
on
we
our
do.
window,
No, we have people
like
moving
ABC's
chairs.
Good Morning America or the Today Show or all those things.
Oh,
Yes,
and poor
yes.
Robin Roberts.
Yeah.
After battling cancer, she's looking for bone marrow
I know.
donations.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Sad,
about that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
You know, I will tell you that if you've had cancer, it is a constant fight.
Yeah.
If I go back to my history, I've had cancer 11 times now, and it seems to me that every 5 or 6 years, if you make the 5 years, you're okay. Because if I make the 5 years, it happens to come back around the 10th year. This time I'd made almost 11 years.
Mm.
So it's a constant battle. If
So
it's
it
in
was-
your system, it's in your
Who else?
system.
Jack Osborne, Sharon and Ozzy's son, just announced that he has
Yeah.
multiple sclerosis
Yeah.
or
Something like that.
muscular dystrophy. I
One
think
of
it's
those.
MS. I think it's multiple
MS.
sclerosis. Oh,
I still am convinced that I have SARS.
You do?
I think so.
I think you gave it to me.
Well,
Probably.
keep your scars to yourself.
No,
SARS.
SARS.
I know that. I just.
I don't have any scars. I haven't had any
So, Glenn,
major surgery.
are you going to be auditioning for Ann Curry's job at the Today Show?
Ooh,
I
No.
think you would be. I think you and Matt Lauer would work out brilliantly.
yes.
I don't know.
Or maybe Hoda can go to the morning hour,
Or-
and then you and Kathy Lee. Holy
Oh,
shit,
That would be great.
that would be a
Okay,
pairing.
Glenn and Kathy Lee.
Yeah,
That would be
great.
awesome.
That would be fun.
Because you being the sober one for 21 years and her being, a lush, you'd
Yes.
be holding her up for the
But
final hour of the
she's
Today
fun,
Show.
Though.
Maybe we get to meet
Well,
Frank.
She forgot Martin Short's wife was dead. She's a lot of fun.
Oh no! What happened? What do you mean?
When they were interviewing Martin Short because he was a voice in Madagascar 3,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, so tell me about the longevity. How are you two staying so alive or not so alive? How are you two?"
That'd be really bad if she said it
how
that
can
way.
you explain your longevity of your marriage? And he was like, well, we had fun, like saying things in the past,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
still didn't get it until they went to a commercial break, and Martin Short had to lean over and said, my wife passed away 2 years ago.
Wow. Awkward.
Yeah.
And did she come back and rectify it? Or?
Yes, she did publicly, and Martin Short said that she was very sweet. That
No, it's
you
an
know,
honest mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
apparently this is the second time she did it too.
Oh, really?
You think you're gonna get it?
Do you know
Yeah.
who else she did that to?
Who?
No, I'm
No, I
asking.
can't remember.
Oh, no,
I can't
I
remember
don't.
who it was, but
Oh.
I was thinking maybe Rick Moranis, but he's been out of the public view since his wife passed away in
Yeah.
early 2000, 2001. Anyway,
Could
on
be
a
worse.
downer.
Like, can you imagine her saying that to like Coretta Scott King or something? So, how long have you,
Yeah.
how have you been able to hold it together all these years?
Yeah. What's your secret?
She doesn't know that part. My God.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. It would be funny. I mean, it wouldn't really be funny.
Priscilla Presley.
Actually, I had a dream
How's
that
your
that
husband?
happened, but
But you're crazy.
Oh, I'm getting one more text before we go off the air from he who shall not be named.
Oh, here we go.
He says, "Great show, 60 seconds commercial with Chuck and wife." Chuck and wife?
Wow.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
All
Of
right.
course, will kick my ass. So
Well, I hope I don't know what the
Better
what
yours
goes
than
on
mine.
in the commercial, but I assume it was something anti-gay or
Probably.
something.
Probably.
So because you got to fight against that militant gay agenda that you guys have. You haven't turned me yet, but that's just because I have SARS.
I have no intentions. I'm by, remember?
You're safe.
Oh, that's right. Oh, now he says ignore text.
No, it's kind of late to ignore, isn't it? What was that smirk on your face?
Somebody. Oh, that was like
You know how I feel about your bisexuality.
Oh,
well, that's
and
your
he
opinion.
sent me a video. That reminds me,
Send you a video?
Corey J. Turner, who is going to have, I can't say too much about it, but
Yeah.
Corey J. Turner, a mediocre comedian. Remember, he's not just good, he's good enough. He's going to have a show coming up on IPMNation.com in about 6 weeks.
Mhm.
It's going to be really big. I was at the studio last night where he and his partner will be, not life partner, he made that clear. He's too conservative to be gay. But he and his partner on the show are going to do a show, and he was commenting about how he was in the chat room a few weeks ago, and he was typing things that he didn't want me to say. He said, "Don't read this," but I read it anyway. So that was kind of funny. Anyway,
I'm looking forward to this.
yes, the show. I won't even tell you the name of the show, but it's going to be very, very good.
Fantastic.
I did see on Facebook he had posted pictures of his studio.
Yeah, so I was there last night. It's very impressive, very professional
Excellent.
setup. So looking forward to that. And I guess that's gonna wrap for today.
You will be here next week.
Will I?
The 4th of July. Are we doing a
I
4th
thought
of
you were
July
gonna do
episode
it.
of...
Yeah, but now you're talking about going to Boston that day.
No, we're not going to do that because we don't have the transportation.
Oh, okay.
That's why I took a survey.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I will be here next week. Yes.
His transportation is usually...
yes. Yeah.
No, it's either you or Doug, and neither of you are going to be available, and that takes care of that, and that's fine.
We're
with
going to get
me.
you a car. Like a car service.
And who's going to drive it?
Or a
We'll
Segway.
hire a driver for
I
you.
can imagine Glenn riding around on a Segway.
To Boston. Going to Boston.
Not to
Never
Boston.
seen
but-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a Segway!
We'll get there eventually.
QC News!
How fast do those go?
Not fast
12
enough.
to 15 miles an hour, depending on if you're uphill or downhill.
Not bad. You can,
Not fast enough when you're chasing Glenn in a car.
right, right. So Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition, will be here next week. Holiday be damned. I don't mean
Go
that
for it.
literally. Holiday be damned.
Yes.
People are gonna think I'm
Maybe
anti-patriotic.
we'll bring in some fireworks? Ooh,
Can we light off sparklers in here?
I don't know
They're
what
not
the-
very. they're not that dangerous.
No, there's rocks, we can't do it. There's fire alarms.
I was thinking about that.
Can't
yeah.
do it. We'll have to
maybe
go
not.
outside and do it.
We'll have to
Yeah.
get those little sex toy things that light up that you got from
No, better than
Providence
that
Pride.
is I noticed that
Really?
at Pride they had these sticks and they went like this and some colored paper came out of it like a flare.
Oh, really?
And they must sell that.
Actually, that's an Olympic sport.
Is it?
Yeah, the banner thing.
It wasn't a.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go like that, the stuff comes out. They must sell that.
Oh, like
the-
confetti?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, those.
They must sell that at
Yes.
the fireworks place. I need to go
that
check
would
that out.
be the Rip Taylor collection, if I recall. Is it Rip Taylor?
Rip Taylor.
The one who throws confetti at all of his, wears a wig and mustache.
Oh.
But this isn't a.
Very gay.
Yeah.
Very, very gay.
This isn't a tube.
It's not
This-
Rip Torn,
they
right?
hold
Rip
on
Torn
to
is
it.
the actor who was
So
arrested
So
because he
I'm
wanted
gonna
to go
find
back.
out tomorrow if I can get some of those for our show on Friday.
Okay. All right.
Our 4th of July show.
Yes, we'll let it large gone global Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
And
Here
we have
on,
quite a show coming up and lots of surprises.
you can watch that on QCNews.com and, of course, IPMNation.com.
And don't forget on Sunday.
Sunday nights, 9:30 p.m. Verbal Ejaculation on QCNews.com.
And you are having a show this Sunday, are you
We
not?
will be having a show this Sunday.
And, of course, Unleashed, the television edition, will be back on Wednesday.
And
Wednesday
next
the
Tuesday
4th.
night, we will be televising live on the internet the concerts in the park of it's called Arms Park and the fireworks.
Why do they call it Arms Park?
It's where they took up arms.
That's
Oh.
right. Very well said.
All that out of my ass.
Good, good. With your arms.
I did.
Yes, excellent. All right, well, thanks.
One more thing.
Yes,
Look,
one more thing.
in the next 2 days, I will be putting on a lot of new programming into the system. For example, a lot of content that were now been downloaded and edited, and we're going in. And by editing, I don't mean censorship. We just need to, you know how you have your camera on and you're walking around all you get is the grass. That's the part of editing I'm talking
My
about.
grandfather used to do that all the
Oh, I
time.
hate that when it happens.
It'd be 10 minutes of family footage followed by 30 minutes of his feet because he kept walking.
And tomorrow we are
God
starting.
bless him. I love you, Grumpy.
We are starting our 5th show.
Oh,
Weekly show.
what
Really?
is it?
Yes, and the producer of that show, are you ready?
This is the first I'm hearing this. This is breaking news.
I know.
Ginger Farah.
Ginger.
Ginger
What's
loves
our fourth
me.
show? If we have Matt Connarton Unleashed, Verbal Ejaculation, We'll Let It Large Gone Global.
Oh,
Mill City.
The
Mill City,
yes,
thank you.
which you can
Thank
also
you.
watch.
My apologies. I could not remember.
So we now, as of this week, we'll have 5. So we're slowly getting there, guys. Remember, by Christmas, I want to reach that 40.
Yep.
What's her show called?
Matt Connarton, I hate you.
No, Ginger loves me. I'm her favorite.
Ginger
No, really.
Gone Global.
Ginger has never left me an angry, profanity-laced voicemail. I promise. She has never ever done that. But hey, have I ever played for you the voicemail that Ginger left me? I still have it.
Yes.
You know her show now is called
True story, by the way.
her show now what you call is the playing
remix that.
field.
Yeah.
Is it leveling the playing field?
Yeah.
But she's got a subtitle. It's called If Something, and that's what she's going to call the show.
Considering the what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could read my mind. Oh, that's a Gordon Lightfoot song.
I don't think she could
If
read
you
your
could.
mind.
Does she want to have me
I don't
on?
think you want her to read your mind.
Does Ginger want me on as a guest?
I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, tell her
Or
I want to.
co-host.
Ooh.
Okay. Also, starting next week, we're going to be starting to take the disc of some of the Channel 23 programming because producers want it done on our shows, on our network, and we're going to start putting it on every week.
Now, Glenn, if anybody out there is interested in joining the QC News program, how can they get in touch with you?
QueenCityExaminer@gmail.com or reach us at 603-289-6835.
All right.
Very good.
QueenCityExaminer@gmail.com. For those who don't understand your Canadian accent.
Oh, it's not that bad.
I know.
All right.
All right, I guess we're done.
We're over.
Thanks, everybody. This is the part where we stall a few extra seconds because Glenn has to go and take us off the air.
Yes.
So,
If only we could do something like
Ginger,
bring the studio into the studio.
Ginger, if you're watching, welcome to QC News. I do like and respect you. The kidding around that we do on Norm and Friends, it's all done with affection. And we'll end with that. Thanks, everybody, for
Good
watching.
night, everyone.